Hey, it's Ginger Walker, and welcome to this episode of Ask the Realtor at B101.5. Let's see what questions you have for me today. Come on, let's go.
Total Comfort Heating and Air and Plumbing Studios.
This is D in the Morning on B101.5.
7-Eleven, happy Friday. TGIF, my goodness. It is the first Friday. Did you forget? We're already in August. My goodness. Ginger Walker's in the studio for Ask a Realtor. Wow, that Friday rolled in pretty quickly.
I know.
It did. Well, welcome to it. We've got questions coming in for you already.
Awesome.
So if you want to text in your questions for Ginger, 540-899-1015 on the Fletcher Construction Hotline. You can just text in right now. The forbearance foreclosure, big topic right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know you're answering a lot of those questions.
I am.
All right. So we're going to get to some of that.
Okay.
And then we've got all kinds of questions coming in about, is it still a good time to sell the house?
Let's do it. The answer would be yes.
Okay. All right. I was going to say, you're going to make everybody wait? No, the answer is still
Absolutely yes.
all capital
Yes.
letters. Yes,
Yes,
still.
Y-E-S still. Absolutely. Yep.
All right, fine. So we'll get to all of that. If you've got questions, you can text in right now, 540-899-1015. Ginger's in the studio. We've got Ask a Realtor going on right now. We've got text messages coming in left and right. If you've got questions for Ginger, she is going to get to all of those here in just a moment. You can just text in 540-899-1015 or 800-685-1015. Ginger, I was just doing this list a little bit ago about the sexiest jobs to have.
Okay.
Doctor, lawyer came in,
Yeah.
1 and 2.
Okay.
Carpenter came in number 3.
Oh.
Engineer came in number 4. Project manager came in number 5. I'm also going to call that like real estate agent and
I'll take
business
that.
owner and, CEO of all the things. I feel like you fall in that.
Oh, well, thank you.
I mean, you're right there in the top 5. But at times, I have seen you also be a doctor and a lawyer. So I feel like, you know what I mean?
You know what? We apply
Yeah.
Band-Aids when people fall down.
Exactly.
And, we read contracts. So,
You do it.
yeah.
So
It's kind of not really the same thing, but
but sort of.
But sort of. That's awesome.
All right, so big topic right now with forbearance foreclosure.
Yep.
What kind of questions have you been getting, and what are the answers?
So, I mean, just in a quick nutshell, the moratoriums they've ended. There's some level of an extension for renters at this point. But, the big concern is, are we going to hit a big foreclosure period? And I started in real estate in 2008. And if you remember the market back then, that was kind of when we were headed into the foreclosures and short sale side of the business. The predictions are that that's not going to be what's going to happen in the future. Now, no crystal ball here, but based on just market knowledge and reading and really kind of keeping my finger on the pulse of what's going on, if you really break it down, there's just a couple key points to consider. And the fear of foreclosure, short sales, naturally there's always a short sale foreclosure. There's always naturally short sales and foreclosures in our market. Those did not happen during the moratorium. So those are going to come, into play at some point.
Right.
But with everyone that went into forbearance, the key things to keep in mind is that, when the market increased, our property values have been increasing. And just to give you perspective, they've actually increased in our area about 17%.
Oh.
From June 2020 to June 2021. If you just look at, from one year versus the other, it's increased about 17% here overall in our Fredericksburg, Stafford market.
Wow.
So taking that into consideration, if someone went into forbearance, right, they stopped making their mortgage payments. If it's a federally backed loan, they're going to attack those payments most likely on the end of the life of the loan. If they're not a federally backed loan, then what will end up happening is you can maybe work out some kind of a payment plan. But the key thing is, if they're going to sell, people that were in forbearance, as long as they have about a 10% cushion over what they can sell the house for versus what they owe with all the fees included, they'll be fine to be able to sell the house. Because on the average, you say, it takes about 10% in costs to sell the house as a seller. And that's taken into a lot of considerations, and it's kind of a high value. So all that being said, as long as they've got about a 10% cushion, and you've got to remember property values have been going up, They've gone up about 17% from the same time last year. So the long and short story is that if someone's in forbearance and they need to sell, they're still in a seller's leaning market with property values higher. So most likely there won't be the issue of a foreclosure or short sale.
That's such a relief to know, I feel like, for a lot of people,
Right.
especially when you map it out with a number, like if you've got that 10% cushion.
Right.
That's kind of relieving.
Yeah. And in this market, I mean, the 10% takes into compensation all the costs for a seller. And some of those are negotiable, like a buyer asking for closing costs. Like in this market, that's not really what we're seeing right now in sellers paying buyers closing costs. So it's big picture, there's a lot of fear that I get in the question, but if you look at it and break it down that way, it makes sense that you can see that there's not going to be, or there shouldn't be, in theory, a big foreclosure and short sale, situation coming like what we saw in 2008.
Jennifer had asked before we even got started with the hour, she said, is this still a good time to sell? Obviously, you answered yes from the get-go.
Yep.
Has it slowed down at all?
So it hasn't really slowed down in the fact that homes are selling still quickly.
Okay.
And they're selling in under a month in our area. And so a seller's leaning market, we look at 6 months of inventory, and we don't have that in our area. So it's still a seller's leaning market. What I will say, what we're seeing is we call it a softening of the market. And what that basically means is if your home, and I've said this over and over and over again, every month I think I'm here, but if it's priced appropriately for how it shows, you may now not get 20 offers on the house. You may get 4. You may only get 1, but as long as you only need 1, right? You only have 1 buyer.
Well, that's true, yeah.
So, but you're not seeing necessarily the accelerated craziness of what we saw maybe about 4 months ago. But yes, it is still a fantastic time to be a seller in this market. And on the flip side, buyers, do not be scared, because it's still a great opportunity for you to get in the market. Interest rates are still super low. We were just in a company-wide meeting the other day, and one of the lenders had said, I'm in the 2%, still in 2%. I closed a house yesterday. They closed it very low 2s for their interest rate. So interest rates are still really low. So it's a great time to jump in if you're a buyer.
Well, speaking of the buying side, I have a couple of questions that have come in about that, and I want to sort of switch over to that. You're right. I think it's that position of, don't be scared. Yet a lot of people are, and they're scared of competing right now, and they're scared of how high they're going to have to go,
Yes.
To get the house that they really, really want. So I want to talk a little bit about that in just a few minutes. But in the meantime, if you want to get in touch with Ginger, really easy to do. Givebackteam.com is the website. You guys have so much going on, including the fact that you are literally the #1 real estate team at Coldwell Banker Elite. I mean, you've got a great team and someone to handle every side of what's going on, whether you're selling or buying, like someone who specifically handles, either side of that, which I think that's wonderful. If you're on either side, you want someone who's going to say, this is my lane.
Yep, exactly. That's a Melissa-ism. Stay in your lane. Melissa, good morning, sunshine.
Yeah.
No, it's true. We do have some, we're full service. So whatever you need, we're here to support you.
I love it. I mean, and we miss Melissa here on the show today, but she's busy this morning.
Got a closing.
She's doing her thing.
She's doing her thing.
Which we're glad but she's an expert in the selling department with the buyers. I mean, she's that's the thing. You want someone who's going to focus fully, on your side of things.
Absolutely, 100%.
All right, givebackteam.com is the website. That's a really easy place to get in touch with Ginger and the rest of the team, which, by the way, is just fantastic. Givebackteam.com. So you can go ahead and text in your questions, 540-899-1015 or 800-685-1015.
In the morning.
Post Malone in Circles. It is 7:38. Ask a Realtor. Ginger Walker's in the studio. The Give Back team. Always here on the first Friday, having a good time. I can't believe it's August. We were just talking a few minutes ago during the commercial break and whatnot about just the schools getting ready to start.
Monday.
This weekend, tax-free weekend.
Yes.
So if all of you are shocked that school's getting ready to start, this is the weekend to go shopping.
I kind of have to do that. I forgot.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
It's
son's
crazy.
And my son grew like 3 feet over, COVID,
Yeah.
not going to school. So he kind of needs some clothes to go back to school
Yeah.
with.
Yeah,
and shoes.
Yeah, how about those high waters?
Yeah, exactly.
And your toes are coming out of your shoes.
yeah,
you know,
exactly.
that whole
exactly.
thing. Mhm.
Flip-flops. Flip-flops.
Are they allowed to wear flip-flops
No, I
to
don't
school?
know. I don't even know.
Okay.
He's high school, so I don't know what the
Oh,
requirements
they can do
are.
anything in high school.
Yeah, I
feel
think so.
like. Yeah.
Well, his jeans are now his shorts. That's basically what he's looking like now. So, yeah.
I cannot believe it is August. I'm just like, wow, where did the time go? I feel like, everything sort of got shifted so much during COVID and the height of COVID and when COVID started. And now we're back with, COVID stuff again,
Yep.
dealing with that. Has that affected how did you do anything? Are you doing anything different now?
No, we still follow the CDC guidelines. We
Yeah.
put that in all of our listings, for anyone showing our properties that are listed. When we meet with our clients, we give them a little goodie bag and we include things like, hand sanitizer, and we have masks for them if they need them. So no, we've really not changed our practices. We follow the CDC guidelines, and if people are uncomfortable, we'll wear a mask. If whatever the the requirements are of the seller, if we're entering a property, we follow all of those guidelines.
You do a lot of showings virtually.
We do.
I feel like a lot more than what you did pre-COVID.
True, absolutely true.
But you guys are really good at that. You do it in a way where I feel like it's so professionally done that you really get a great idea of what house you're looking at, because we have a lot of military that looks at stuff
Yes.
and buys a house sight unseen, and you can walk them through that whole process.
Absolutely. So yesterday I had a closing, and I literally handed keys to a military family that moved from down south. And the first time that they walked through the door was when I gave them the keys and they signed for the house.
Oh, wow.
So it was all virtually done. We virtually toured them. And yesterday we were virtually touring another family that's moving this way with the military. So that can't be here. So we did that anyway. That was part of our business practices, because we do have a lot of military that aren't able to be here.
Mm-hmm.
So really, we were poised to already do that. But we are doing a lot more of it now. Absolutely.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yep.
Givebackteam.com is the website if you want to get in touch with Ginger after the show. If you want to text right now, you can do that and ask your question, 540-899-1015. Also, I wanted to get to this question from, let me see who it was from. Gina had a question about buying a house. She was talking about how competitive it was. Mm-hmm. Is it still as competitive? Because a lot of people that are looking for their house, the problem is you find that perfect thing,
Right.
And then it's like, okay, how much more am I going to have to pay for this perfect house that I really have my eyes and my heart set on?
Sure. So, Gina, it's a great question. And the answer is, it is still a competitive market. But like I said before, it's kind of softening a little bit. So it's not as crazy as we had seen it a few months ago. So as a buyer, it's still a great time to jump in, because like I said, interest rates are great. Are we still seeing people paying over the list price, and offering and going under contract for our team? What we're seeing, the answer would be yes. Are we still seeing some people waiving inspections, certain inspections? The answer is still yes. Are there also guarantees over appraised value from what we're seeing at Give Back Team? The answer is still yes, but it's not as crazy as it had been a few months ago. So if you're afraid to jump in the market at that point, I would say, now's a good time to really start digging in and pay attention to the market and actually look at those types of houses that you're interested in and see what they're actually closing at. But I would say, be prepared as a buyer to have cash on hand to use for a down payment, have for all your inspections if you can get them, and negotiate them. But I will say, from the buyer side, we have been able to negotiate home inspections and get them in, and we have been able to keep appraisals intact. So we have also been able to go under contract without a guarantee over appraised value. So we're starting to see a little bit of shifting, and it's becoming a little bit easier for our buyers.
If you have a child or two that you're willing to part with, maybe, I don't know, you give
tacos for life.
Yes.
I don't know. You can throw something crazy.
Something crazy.
Yeah, you never know.
It's so it's not as crazy, but you still are going to do some negotiating.
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like.
But like I said, it's becoming a little bit easier. There's less competition per house. We're starting to see a little bit more inventory coming on. So So don't be afraid to jump in.
Don't be too scared.
Don't be too scared. And I'm happy to help you.
Yeah, that's the thing. Yep. Ginger will walk you through the whole process and help you in that negotiating. You're a great negotiator. Really, really great negotiator. So yeah, if you want to get in touch with Ginger, givebackteam.com is the website.
So thanks for joining us for another episode of Ask the Realtor at B101.5. See you next time.